Hello Hoosier fans and basketball enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Indiana basketball's recruiting landscape. With new coaching leadership and a flurry of promising prospects linked to the program, many are asking, is Indiana basketball on the verge of a recruiting explosion? Over the next 8 minutes, we'll analyze the latest recruiting developments, key targets, and what this could mean for the future of the Hoosiers. Since Darian DeVries took over as head coach in March 2025, Indiana basketball has undergone a dramatic transformation, both in terms of roster construction and recruiting philosophy. DeVries, who was introduced at Assembly Hall following Mike Woodson's departure, brings a process-oriented and disciplined approach honed during successful stints at West Virginia and Creighton. His reputation for adaptability, defensive fundamentals, and player development has set a new tone for the program, with Indiana Athletic Director Scott Dolson emphasizing the intent to build a championship culture under DeVries' leadership. The need for a complete rebuild was immediate. After the 2024-25 season, Indiana's entire roster turned over, with every player either graduating or entering the transfer portal. In response, DeVries and his staff moved quickly, signing 10 players from the transfer portal and 1 high school recruit, Trent Sisley, for the 2025-26 season. This rapid overhaul has given Indiana significant depth, particularly in shooting and positional size, though the center position remains somewhat undersized. DeVries expressed satisfaction with the roster's composition, noting, "We have great depth at shooting the basketball, which is a priority for us. We have great positional size at a lot of the spots. At the center, we are a little small, but at the other spots, we have great size." However, the final shape of the roster is still in flux. Indiana currently has 11 players signed for 2025-26, but 2 roster spots are being held open for potential NCAA eligibility waivers for returning veterans Luke Good and Anthony Leal. Both players are seeking an additional year of eligibility based on previous injury seasons, but the NCAA has yet to make a decision amid a backlog of waiver requests. DeVries has acknowledged the uncertainty, stating, "Their waivers are still in process. From a timing standpoint, we don't really have a lot of clarity on when those decisions will be made. Sooner the better. That's really out of our control." The staff is prepared to pivot in their recruiting depending on the outcome, with flexibility to fill those spots if the waivers are denied. With the 2025-26 roster nearly set, DeVries and his staff have shifted their focus to the class of 2026, which will be his first full recruiting cycle at Indiana, a crucial opportunity to establish the program's new identity. Unlike the transfer-heavy approach necessitated by back-to-back rebuilds at West Virginia and Indiana, DeVries is determined to make high school recruiting the foundation of the Hoosiers' future. The goal is to build continuity by developing players over multiple years, using the transfer portal only to supplement the core roster. As On3's Jamie Shaw noted, he's got an energy, he's got a vibe about him that people are messing with. There has been a substantial shift in the way recruits view Indiana because of DeVries. Indiana has already cast a wide net for the 2026 class, aggressively pursuing several high-profile prospects. Caleb Gaskins, a 6'8" power forward ranked 11th nationally, has emerged as a top target. Gaskins, considered a consensus 5-star, has offers from elite programs across the Big Ten and SEC, including Alabama, Auburn, Baylor, Florida State, Gonzaga, and Villanova, as well as interest from blue bloods like Kansas and Duke. Despite sharing the spotlight with other national stars at his high school, Gaskins has excelled in high-profile tournaments, underscoring his status as a major recruiting prize. Sammy Jackson, a 6'7" small forward ranked in the top 100 nationally, has Indiana among his Final Four choices, alongside St. Joe's, Texas, and VCU. Jackson has praised DeVries and assistant Rod Clark for their consistent communication and vision for his role as a big guard or point forward. Jackson is scheduled for an official visit to Indiana in mid-June and will announce his commitment on June 25th. Taylen Kinney, a highly touted point guard ranked in the top 20 nationally, is another major prospect Indiana has targeted. Kinney, standing at 6'7", is known for his scoring, athleticism, and defensive prowess, drawing offers from several powerhouse programs. Prince Alexander Moody and Jordan Smith Jr., both guards with strong national rankings, have received offers from Indiana and are being pursued by other top-tier programs, reflecting the competitive nature of this recruiting cycle. This diverse and talented group of prospects signals Indiana's intent to compete at the highest level in recruiting battles. DeVries' energetic approach and the staff's commitment to building through high school talent have already begun to change the perception of Indiana among recruits, generating excitement and optimism for the program's future. Indiana has already landed some key recruits for 2025, including Harun Zerno, a 6'7" Bosnian forward who committed in January 2025. Zerno brings international experience and a strong shooting ability, averaging over 18 points per game in Bosnia's national championship. He is the first international recruit under head coach Mike Woodson and represents a step toward expanding Indiana's recruiting reach globally. Trent Sisley, a 4-star forward from Montverde Academy, signed for 2025. On the flip side, Indiana missed out on some top in-state prospects in 2025. Such as 5-star recruits Braylon Mullins and Jalen Harrelson, who opted for UConn and Notre Dame respectively. This has led to some criticism of the program, but the new coaching staff appears to be making strides to reverse that trend. Looking ahead, Indiana is strongly linked to several top-tier prospects who could ignite a recruiting explosion. Sebastian Wilkins, a 6'8" forward from Brewster Academy, ranked number 29 overall in the 2026 class and a potential reclassification candidate. Indiana is actively pursuing him, with confirmed dialogue, but no visit date yet. Wilkins has also taken visits to Duke, Maryland, and Virginia, highlighting the competitive nature of his recruitment. Cole Rosario, a 6'5" guard and one of the biggest risers in the 2026 class, has received an offer from Indiana. Rosario is contemplating reclassifying to 2025, which could fill an immediate roster spot. He has already visited Oregon and Florida State and has upcoming visits to Duke, Kansas, and Miami. Latrell Almond, a top 3 center nationally, is scheduled to visit Indiana soon. His size and skill set could be transformative for the Hoosiers. Sammy Jackson, as mentioned earlier, is a top 100 small forward who has Indiana in his top 4 choices, competing mainly with Texas. These prospects, if secured, could form the nucleus of a highly talented and competitive Indiana team in the coming years. The combination of strong recruiting targets, key commitments, and a new coaching staff focused on roster building suggests Indiana basketball is positioning itself for a significant recruiting upswing. The coaching staff's ability to attract both domestic and international talent shows a broadened recruiting footprint. The pursuit of high-profile prospects like Wilkins, Rosario, and Almond indicates a strategic focus on filling key positional needs with impact players. The upcoming visits and recruiting events in June will be critical in solidifying commitments and building momentum.